In this video, I would like to cover grouping, mirroring, camera focus, and other parametric changes. This model that I've just brought in is a multi-body part, and I will cover briefly how to group and ungroup these things. First, I want to note that when you work with a part that is part of a group, modifications to any or all affect the group. And so the only way that you're going to make modifications like scaling or rotation to this individual part is to ungroup it. And the new way of doing that is you obviously select the part that you want and you click regroup, and you'll see that that creates a new group over here from that part. It applies to multiple parts too. So if I select these two parts here and say regroup, it'll add them into this group. Now I can do things such as drag them around individually or rotate them like this. So that's what grouping is in short. You can then reselect everything and regroup them all together if you want to. And so now that we've got this thing here, this individual part or this group, we can use a new feature down here, which is any field that is in blue and is highlightable is directly editable. So we can click on this and say, I want to move a position, or I want to change a rotation of something like that individually and parametrically. And the same thing is true of like sizes. And this is actually a little bit more interesting with sizes. If I click on this and change 22 to say 10, it scales the entire part because I haven't unlinked that axis. But if I click on an axis, this makes this axis independent of the other ones, and so I can then scale that axis independently. Now if I click on one of these other two, those axes are linked, so Y and Z will then scale together, but X will not because it's independent. So that's a really quick overview of how you can do this parametric editing down here, and then grouping as well. And the last thing I want to show is, or two things that I want to show, one is mirroring, and the other one is camera focus. So let me bring in another model to show you camera focus. Here's a good example of an object where you might want to zoom around and look at different parts of the object. And so the feature is command or control click of the surface, and the camera will then focus on and orient to face that part. So control click there. If I control click in the back, you'll see that it sort of pans around the part. If I go over to the blade, click on that part, and then click on the other side, you'll see the camera moves around. So the control or command click to a surface to change the camera orientation is super useful for zooming around a part. And then the last thing I wanted to cover is an extension of the whole idea of splitting and merging and mirroring. So for non-manifold parts, you want to edit the interior, and what we can do here is click on split, split this part down the middle, delete the top, and now we can see sort of the internals of this thing. And once we have made some changes and we want to turn this thing back into the whole part again, it's as simple as clicking on that and saying mirror. And that will then recreate the top half. And then using the same sort of tricks from the previous video, you can then merge these or export them as a group or as an STL to recompose that into a single part. And that's all I want to cover today. I look forward to your comments and feedback, and especially if there are any parts that you want me to take a look at and analyze in a video, please drop me a note. Thanks for watching.